Hi, I'm Brenda,
And hi, I'm Amber.
and this is the Minority Millennial Money Podcast. The contents of this podcast are informational in nature and are not legal or tax advice, and neither Amber nor I nor Minority Millennial Money is engaged in the provision of legal, tax, or any other advice. You should seek your own advice from professional advisors, including lawyers and tax accountants, regarding the legal, tax, and financial implications of any financial decision you contemplate. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Minority Millennial Money. Today, we want to talk about YOLO and this concept that a lot of young people have about living in the moment and spending money that way. And this actually came up because someone had heard me on the Bigger Pockets podcast, and she was struggling with a decision to buy a Tesla because her car that had been paid off was recently totaled, and it just seemed like the perfect time to buy a Tesla, but she still had some debt and still had some student loans. And so she was kind of at the point where she could afford the Tesla, but it wasn't really the best financial decision. So, Amber, what do you think about YOLO financially?
Yeah, so it's hard, right? Like, I think, at a certain point, we obviously have to do things, that we like to do. We all, I love going to spas, and obviously I like ordering Uber Eats to some extent. Um, so I think that there's got to be a balance, right? Like, you can't purchase something that will be so big of a purchase that your financial goals are completely thrown off for years, and you have to balance that with doing something that you really like. So it just really depends on like how much that Tesla was really worth to her.
Right. And that's what I said. I was like, you haven't had a car payment for a while. You're not out of debt. That's like my first red flag is like, you don't get to really treat yourself till you don't owe anybody else any money. Because
Right.
until you're debt free, you still owe time and money to whomever your lender is. Right. So I was like, she's like, oh, well, I could use my next sign on bonus to pay off my student loan. I'm like, my next bonus to pay off my student loans. And I said, okay, well, then maybe the Tesla can wait until then. But I think one of the major questions to ask yourself is, do I value electric vehicles? Or whatever it is, right? Do I value blank? Right? Like, why am I getting a Tesla? Am I getting a Tesla so that my friends can say I have a Tesla? And I told her, honestly, I have a friend who has one, and it's so annoying because you have to constantly be charging it. And it's cool, but it's just not worth the hassle to me. Right? So I think the other thing is, have you considered the opportunity cost of that car payment per month, right? Because I wanted a new car sometimes when I hear about like, oh, this brand came out with a new model or whatever. And then I think that's $500 a month that I can literally spend on anything else. Like, that's a flight to Cancun, that's a flight to New York City. I was telling you that I just got my hair done, and I ended up getting the spa treatment, and I dropped $200, and I have no regrets, but I don't have a Tesla. So I YOLO in different ways. And I think that cars are one of those big things, as we've talked about on one of the other episodes, that people YOLO. And I was telling her, like, it's going to be cool and exciting for about 3 months. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're stuck with 57 more payments.
Whew. Well, I think you brought up a good point that, she's still in debt. And so I assume that also means that she hasn't built very much wealth either. And so
Mm.
I kind of feel like if you have less than $100,000 of net worth, you shouldn't buy anything. Like, you're still in poverty. Like, let's be honest, like, you're still paycheck to paycheck. So we're talking about two whole totally different things now. One is like, if you have money, what you should do with it. One is like, you have no money and you're still in poverty. Because honestly, it doesn't matter. She's saying like, oh, well, my signing bonus get paid off, but it hasn't. And you don't have like anything, it sounds like, in
Well,
savings or in investments.
and the thing with that kind of like, oh, I'm going to have this windfall money is like, it's not yours until it's in your bank account, right? And
Right.
your job could decide that for the rest of this year, they're not giving bonuses because that wasn't a part of your compensation package, or it was a part that they could take away.
Yep.
And now you've got student loans and a Tesla payment.
Oh, I mean, I just couldn't imagine. I mean, unless you know, like you're in government or something like that, where you know your loans are going to be paid off in X years or forgiven, is what I mean, or you know something like that, where you're still building wealth. But again, like I said, if you have less than $100,000, there should be no like any of that. That's crazy. I mean, really, like you're living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, like I'm just confused.
Yeah, I think that, but you know, that's a very normal pressure for people to feel, and it's not just with cars, it's with clothes, with where we live, right? Like for example, I live in Austin and the downtown area is like really awesome to live in, but you're talking about at least 2,500 per month in rent
Mm,
for an apartment downtown, only so you can go to the places around your apartment that are also very expensive. So, you know, when I hear about people doing this kind of stuff, I'm just like, you know, more power to you. If that is what you value and you want to work till you're 75 because you live downtown from the time you were 25 to 35,
mm,
I respect that, you know, but I don't really aspire to that. And to me, having flexibility and freedom is
right.
going to be more worth it than any car or any physical item. But there are certain physical items that I do value, right? And I have no problem buying them. So it's just like this is not a one size fits all, but if you're on the fire track and you're seriously trying to be intentional about how you save and invest, then you just don't take on $600 or $700 car payments.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Period.
Yeah, like I don't, there's no. Maybe if we were talking about no student
Yeah, and
debt,
I hope
you know, if the
yeah, if you
circumstances,
have no debt and you're making six figures and you're like, I'm all about green energy and I really care about having an electric vehicle, great. You know, that's great. But you're still in debt. So to me, if you have a Tesla or a BMW or whatever it is and you have $60,000 in debt, I just can't respect that.
no, it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
So I think we're gonna call the episode NOLO or Yo No or
YOLO later. YOLO when you have a network, a positive network.
how about you actually live a long time and should plan accordingly?
Yeah. Yes.
Let me write the letters of that out. You actually live a long time and should. It's Yalal to spa. Not as catchy.
Not as catchy.
But anyway, we want to hear some feedback about what do y'all think about YOLOing. And please give us a review, 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, if they give you the opportunity to do so, so that more people can hear about our podcast. We're on Instagram as Minority Millennial Money, on Twitter as MM Money Pod, and both of us are on Twitter and Instagram, which you can find out in our link tree on both Twitter and Instagram.
Yes. All right.
Cool.
Thanks,
Have
everyone.
a great day. Bye.